Hey guys, today's video is my take on the pros and cons of the AA. Again, these are just my views, nobody else's. It's not Steph's view from my partner on this channel, it's just my own views. I don't particularly have anything against people who go to the AA. The first time I ever got myself sober was through the AA's help. I was just relapsing constantly, just putting 1 and 2 weeks together. I honestly believed I couldn't get sober. This was a year ago, over a year ago, and I decided to rock up at the AA on my own one night, and I did everything. I did the 90 meetings in 90 days with them. And I loved it, if I'm honest. The first, the first 60 days or something, was awesome. I really enjoyed it. I'm not a religious man one bit, so the higher power, the God stuff bothered me, I must admit. There's no point in me lying. But I got around that. I changed the word God to mean group of drinkers or group of drunks, which worked for me at the time. But what did happen was, after about the 60-day mark, up until the 90-day mark, I began to despise going there a little bit, because it felt like I had to go. The whole reason it got me sober was, it wasn't particularly the meetings or the content of the meetings. It was the fact that when I got in from work, I had to go to a meeting at 8 PM. So it just broke that cycle I was in of being at home and being a home drinker. So that's the bit that actually got me sober, not so much the content of the AA. So anyway, I did the 90 meetings in 90 days, and I ended up leaving the AA. And I actually ended up relapsing 2 months after I left as well, after the 5-month mark. But I don't link the two together at all. Although I was told by AA members at the time that if I went away from them, there was a really good chance I would relapse. But anyway, that was just part of my journey at that point. Looking back on that now, my view on it is now that if that's the way that's going to get you sober, happy days. Fill your boots. If that works for you, that's fantastic. For me personally, I wouldn't go again. It's not for me. I don't like the fact that obviously you have to go every night, or as many meetings per week as you can. The whole format of the meeting where you're constantly reminded that you're an alcoholic. Even to the fact that every time you want to speak, you have to introduce yourself. Hi, my name's Glenn, I'm an alcoholic. And I'm not saying we should forget what we are, but I don't think it should be in our faces, every day. You get people there who have been sober for 10, 15, 20 years and still doing 3-4 meetings a week, and they fully believe that those meetings are keeping them sane and sober. Hey, it might be. I personally don't think it is. I just think they're just that used to it. It's just habit now. Again, not knocking these people. That's fantastic if it keeps them dry. But my one big beef I do have about the AA, and it is a massive beef, is I met some great people in that 3-month period, and I became friends with them. But what became really apparent was, you're only friends with them while you go to the meetings. If you decide to go your own way, you see, here's the big thing about the AA. I shouldn't call it the AA, but you know what I mean. Here's the thing about them. Their system is, in their eyes, their system is the only way that works. You've got to do the meetings, you've got to commit to it, you've got to do service, and you've got to do the 12-step program. Fantastic. If you want to commit to all that, awesome. It probably will get you sober if you put the effort in, sorry. But they don't think any other method works. So now where we do these help groups, this channel, things like that, where we don't need DAA. They wouldn't believe in that. They couldn't do that. They would not. They wouldn't recommend that to anyone. Whereas this, so basically, if you sat in the AA camp, that's the only way that works. If you sat on the opposite side of the AA, then these people will go, well, you don't have to go to meetings. You can get sober this way by doing this, that, and the other. But you can also go to the AA. It's fine. It's whatever works for you. It's very balanced, whereas the AA is very blinkered, and that's what puts me off now. Not to harp on too much, but as I said, I met, as I said, quite a few really nice people there. But the phone calls and the texts stopped immediately when I stopped going to meetings, even though I was sober. They had no idea I was going to relapse. As far as they were concerned, you know, after 100 days, I was back out there for another 60. You know, they had no idea I was going to relapse. But, you know, the phone calls and the texts just stopped. And for me, that's just the weirdest thing ever. I don't understand that mentality. You know, if you want to help someone, then help them. And I'm not just picking on these particular, you know, probably 5 people or whatever. They were all like that, you know. And I've bumped into a couple out of work at football and things like that. And the first thing you say is, when you coming back? When you coming back to us? And it's like, no offence, but you know, I'm sober. I found a different way to get sober, which is a better way that works for me. And you just see them, fucking hell. It's like you've just fucking slagged off a newborn son or something, you know. You just see it doesn't sit well with them at all. So anyway, as I say, I wouldn't, you know, don't get put off by the AA. If you're really struggling, give it a go. You've got to give it a try. Even if you just do the 90 meetings in 90 days, you know, it will break your cycle. But I think the way I'm doing it, myself and Steph are doing it on this channel, you know, where you're doing your self-help. You don't need a 12-step program. It's more about learning our inner selves. And we've got all the tools to stay sober. Some are AA tools, some are our own. You know, it's a much cleaner way of getting sober, and it's a much cleaner way of living, because you don't have to rely on that network, the AA network, to keep you dry. You don't have to call yourself an alcoholic every day. You don't need to believe in a higher power. You know, if I compare myself to the 5 months sober a year ago, I was a wreck, and I was just a wreck. 5 months this time, my head's in just a completely different place. You know, I've done this, as I say, without any meetings or anything, and it's just been a much more happier experience. So I think I'll wrap it up there, but in summary, the AA is not a bad group. It's really not a bad group, and they're not bad people. It's not a cult, it's not a club, it's not a gang. It's just a group of nice people who bounce off each other. But you have to commit to their way of doing it. But hey, if you can't get sober outside there, give it a go. But I would always say try both. You know, try it outside yourself first. But anyway, if you were interested, I hope that helps. Sorry if I rabbited on. See you later.